This is Comic Picks by the Glick, and here's your host, Jason Glick.
You stole my line, god damn it!
I did.
I hate you, man.
I did, and that's it.
Yes. Can't speak anymore.
You can't get it back forever.
I'm just going to stop and go play more Dragon Age 2 right now. Goodbye. All right, I'm over it now.
Okay, good.
Okay, well, let's see. This week we're going back to Japan, and let me just say that it is honestly a goddamn tragedy what is happening over there right now. Mm-hmm. So if you've got friends or loved ones over there, I certainly hope they make it back all right. I know John was just telling me about a buddy of ours who is alive and will be making it back eventually.
Yep.
So I just hope that my best wishes go out to everyone over there, and I just hope that things start getting better instead of worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and better in the sense that I hope that we're not going to suffer any giant robot attacks like they are in the world of the manga I'm about to talk about, called Bokurano Hours. This is a series from Mohiro Kito that is currently being serialized on Viz's Iki website. This is the web publishing initiative they've set up to promote some more arty or lesser known titles that from Japan's Iki magazine. And as they've been publishing the series, the chapters of the series on their website, they've also been publishing graphic novel collections of these series, like once they reach enough pages to reach a current volume. Now, Bokurano has been going on a roughly 6 month schedule for a while. I'm talking about this and I'm boring myself right now. But okay, the basics of the series is that this group of junior high kids who are vacationing on a nice coast, like a nice nature school on a coastline somewhere, and they wind up meeting this one mysterious guy in a cave who asks them if they want to play a game. So after getting all the sign up, they find out that they've been selected to pilot this giant robot in defense against other giant robots that are attacking Japan. Now, it sounds like a kid's dream come true, and just like the plot for God knows how many other giant robot series out there. But things take a twist when the first pilot, after successfully beating the other giant robot, keels over and dies. Because it turns out that piloting this robot comes at the cost of your life. If you survive the battle, then you die. If you fail, as the very unhelpful a mascot character Koi Mishi informs them that, hey, it's like, yeah, if you die, the whole world's gonna die because you're fine. That's how the stakes in this game run. So now you've got all these high school kids with the fate of the world in their hands. Now, as you can guess, this is a very dark series, and on one hand I like it because of that. Because it's like a lot of there's so many giant stories about where kids pilot giant robots and they trade on the kid. Yeah, they trade on the kids. Just like that. On the simple premise that, hey, these are kids. They don't have real world experience. I mean, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna manage actually how to compete in an adult world? What they don't consider is how these kids are gonna act. Because in just about all these series, all these kids you see are saints. They're just they may whine, they may cry for a little while, but eventually they do the right thing. They overcome their challenges and they grow up in the process. They don't count for the fact that some of these kids are petty, selfish, scared out of their wits, and they're just and are rotten to the core. Someone who's the kids who would use you don't see these kids using this giant robot to settle as ways to settle vindictive scores against people who've wronged them, or just being completely indifferent to the suffering they're causing because, hey, I don't know any of these people. What do I care if I'm stepping on them right now? And that's the kind of series Bokurano is, and that's one of the things that draws to it. It's kind of like a train wreck in that situation. but as I said before in my review of Volume 2, it's people are going to die and die very badly in these cases, but you can't look away all the same. Maybe it's because you're glad you're not on the train, or that you hope to see survivors emerge from the wreckage, battered but intact, with stories of people who gave their lives to avert the disaster. Now, the thing about Volume 2 is that it did a good job of showing you some of the better kids, the ones who are self-sacrificing and who are generally credits to society, kids who you wish would see grow up and to become adults later on. Now, with Volume 3, though, we get far more interesting characterizations right here. But before I go on, I have to say that the series was adapted into an anime a couple of years back by Gonzo Studios, under the direction of Hiroyuki Morita, who also gave us The Cat's Return from Ghibli. While I was looking forward to that series based on how traumatizing the previous anime that was adapted from Kito's work, Narutaru, also known as Shadow Star, was, it eventually became far too warm and fuzzy. Basically, looked at these kids and made these kids into basically martyrs. Turned them into, a lot of them in the second half of the series, into saints. Because they were, they had a rotten luck in life, but they adapted to this. They adapted to the circumstances, and they eventually gave themselves to the greater good. And that's what you expect from this kind of series. And I kind of I was watching Bokurano because I wanted to be traumatized. I want to see, good Lord, man, how much worse is this going to get? So yeah, I'm sick like that. But that's the impression that I got from it. So, but now with Volume 3, that's what we get, because it starts off with Isao Kako, who he's basically not taking this. He's not taking this. His selection as being the next pilot very well at all. He stopped going to school. He's sitting at home, shut off from his friends. Huddled in a corner. I mean, he's adapting to all this badly, very badly. And as we see as we get to see some of his dreams, he's not before his dreams, but later he even tries to force himself on one of the other girls in his group, because he figures hey, we're going to die, so why don't we experience sex beforehand? She manages to force him off because she is far more resourceful and damaged than he is, as we'll see later on in this volume. And then we also find out that he's also got he's very self-destructive, very selfish, and basically just can't think about anyone other than himself. Now, and then while this is the point when the Japanese military gets involved, they find out about the kids. They start making their own efforts to try and get involved in this. When they step into the battle, things don't go well at all, because while the self-defense force tries their best, they get their asses handed them by the other robot. And so once it comes down to just Kako and the other robot, he runs. And the only thing that stops him is when one of his quote unquote friends basically tells him that he's sure good at running while doing this, and then Kako just completely loses it and starts attacking him right in the middle of the cockpit. Now, I'm going into this in detail because when I think of this guy, I think of anime's favorite punching bag for wimpiness, wussiness, and whininess. When it comes to piloting giant mecha, and that's Shinji Ikari.
Shinji.
Yes, it's John. You know Shinji. I mean, you know that he's. I mustn't run away. He's kind of like the poster child for how you're not supposed to act when you're given a giant robot to save the world.
Exactly. Right. No, always think of yourself and let the world go to hell. But that's the impression you get from Shinji. Even though it's basically the things that we forget though is that eventually, yes, he may whine, he may cry, but eventually, at the very end, he eventually mans up and gets in the robot and does what's needed of him in order to save the world. Yep.
And
And like see, because like, and that and see, like, that's what we forget. And that and this in case of Kako, I think it's fascinating to see a character who just can't even muster that. Someone who's just too self-absorbed, too focused on himself to even consider to even like doing something for the sake of themselves, or even to save his own skin. I mean, it's a very one-note direction, but I've never seen something like this done in anime or manga before. Someone who just couldn't, who was just too scared to even muster the courage to fight back. And so, how do you solve the problem of having a character who was too scared to fight back? You have the character who forced himself upon earlier in the volume, use her knife to slit his throat right in the middle of the cockpit. Yeah, this piece of work is is Chizuru, and she is she's not that she's a piece of work, that she has basically been dealt a far harsher hand than anyone I've seen in this series, because she managed to achieve like every high school kid's dream in that, hey, she scored with her teacher. Yeah, let that sink in. She thinks that most boys her age are just like so gross, immature, and just like so not for her. But her teacher, he's dreamy, and it's even better that he's responding to my advances. And how does her teacher respond to this? He responds by letting his friends have a turn. Yeah. Oh man, it's like it's fucking awful, and that's just kind of the shit that Kito goes into, because I mean in the anime it just went as the teacher just like I took videos and I posted them to the net, but here it's like, oh man, that's horrible. And then we find out that she's pregnant because of this, and he says, oh, that's great, we can have a birthing video later on. I mean, what a fucker, man. And then these guys, his friends, hey, and then now she's got a giant robot. So what does she do? She doesn't get mad. She gets even. Like, she uses the robot's abilities to find out where these guys are and just starts frying them, frying them where they stand. And the thing is though that the robot's abilities, they're not very fine tuned. So, hey, it's like you happen to be like say within like several hundred feet of this guy, of one of these guys, when she's exacting her vengeance, then yeah, you're dead too. Even if that means his family's gone, yeah, he's gone as well. So basically, you've got like this a child with a child's sense of justice, given absolute power to exact her revenge. It's a bad recipe, even with like the best kind of justifications as she has here. But then at the very end of the volume, we find out she gets a wake up call, like find out, hey, the world isn't as simple. Vengeance isn't as simple as you think. Even because it turns out that her teacher's dating her sister. So now she has to like face the big questions here, and I'm dying to see how this is going to turn out in volume 4, because I mean in the anime she stops her vengeance when she sees that her sister is involved, and based on what I've seen in the series so far, I honestly can't say whether or not like she's going to stop right here, or if something different is going to happen. I mean, that's what I want to know how it turns out. I'm dying to see like how Kito does this, because like the guy is twisted. Guy's got talent for digging into kids and seeing what makes them tick as kids, instead of just idealize people with less experience. So, but it's also kind of like interesting to see that the series is also basically does revolve around having all of its characters act childish. I mean, you've got the kids who are no kids themselves, but then you got the military who shows up and basically says, "Okay, you got to do exactly what we want." It's like we want to know what this robot does and how you're controlling it. And then Koi Mishi shows up and says, "Yeah, you dickwads, I'm not gonna tell you shit. In fact, hey, I'm gonna just start fucking with you because you're a bunch of dicks. You have no idea what you're dealing with here. I mean,
like I said, the adults here are acting childish here, and same goes for Chizuru's teacher, who's basically just acting without consequence, and his pals as well. Like, hey, they're just, hey, this is our world. Like, we don't have to need to worry about that. Like, we're just acting without consequence. I mean, it's a great setup, and it's, like I said, it's horrible, it's traumatizing, but as much as it is, I still want to see how this is going to turn out, because it's not just like pure shock value. Kito does a good job of getting into his characters' heads, making us see the rationale behind their decisions, so that it's not just pure shock value. Like, there's actual art in here as well. So I'm dying to see what happens next, and I'd love to see Viz publish this on a much a swifter basis than every 6 months. And I would be reading it on the Iki site, but apparently it's being chapters there go up about every month or so, to the point where hey, I can either just read them as they come up, or just wait until I can get a nice chunk, as I do in the graphic novels. Basically, how I read American comics as well. So ideally, yeah, I'd like to see this start selling in huge quantities, so we can get it quicker. Just like Summon of the Gods, and the soon to be coming back Eden. Thank God. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. But still, it's a great, disturbing series for people who are looking for something different, and basically who are if you're tired of your usual mecha series, then hey, this is something I'd highly recommend you check out. Yes, it'll probably cause you to sleep less at night, but hey, it's going to leave an impression, I'll tell you that much. Okay, and on that note, I'm going to go and call it a night. And so, everyone take it easy, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks.
All right, we'll see you next time. Later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Where's the damn stop button? Stop! Where the frick? Shit. Oh, there it is. It's like this little